Hey, revolutionaries. Today we're going to be covering the 2017 elections. We've got 67 elections happening in 13 states with dozens of candidates. Today we're going to be streaming for a few hours, just giving you all the information you need to vote, get out the vote, and make sure you're voting for the right candidates. Also going to be, in just a minute, our Reddit ambassador, Karsh, giving us updates on some upcoming Ask Me Anythings. We're also going to talk a little bit about the historical significance of this election. We're 1 year out from the 2016 generals, and it's been a wild ride, guys. So let's talk about it. Karsh, go ahead and up on the subreddit.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Yeah, so just a couple things with AMAs. We have a couple AMAs in the coming weeks. We, kind of been slowing down a bit since election coverage has been going on, but we have two return AMA from Mike Hartley running for Congress in Indiana's 5th Congressional District. He'll be here next Wednesday on the 15th. And then we have Ryan Kojasta. He is not confirmed with the date yet, but he'll be here also in the coming weeks. He's running in California's 12th Congressional District. So that's it for AMAs this week. Like I said, we got a lot of attention on the elections and the coverage we're going to be having today. So back to you, Will.
All right, thanks, Karsh. So first, we're going to make sure everyone knows, everyone who can vote, will vote, and how to vote. So we've got 13 states. We're just going to go by them real quick in alphabetical order. A mega thread on Reddit with the full list of states and links to the polling place locators. We've also got the full election calendar on Reddit that has the full list of elections. The first state is going to be California. You guys. Yeah. Hold on, I didn't have this page open. I had oh wait, no, I do. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so California has, wow. Well, I've got stuff to figure out, so that's good.
Well, all that information's there, huh?
It is all there. I'm not going to list off each individual thing. I could share my screen. Should I share my screen at this point?
Yeah, we're sharing your screen actually. So
oh, really?
Take a look and
check it out. Nice. Okay. So California. Looks like we've got one candidate running for city board that's endorsed by our revolution on the subreddit. Next state is going to be Connecticut, actually. We've got two progressives running. City council and town council.
I like all these little flame emojis. All courtesy of our best moderator, Dead Poetic 31.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of this kid.
Next race is going to be Georgia. We've got three candidates running, endorsed by our revolution on the subreddit. And most notably, we have Vincent Fort running for mayor of Atlanta. He's got a lot of attention. I've heard people for Burning Crew actually tweeted at us that they've already got their victory graphics ready. So there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of hope that he's going to win.
Never say their city mayor.
Idaho, two city council candidates, also endorsed by our revolution. And then Kansas, got one candidate endorsed for county sheriff by our revolution in the subreddit. Next is Massachusetts. Wow, there's a lot of people around here. And if you guys are looking at this, you can just search by the flame emoji, and that'll give you
all the elections
everybody
on this
that's
day.
been endorsed and who is running today. Whole slate of city council candidates from Massachusetts endorsed by our revolution, along with a couple legislative. What are these for? I don't even know.
The Cambridge City Council elections looks like, yeah.
Then in Michigan, we've got Detroit municipals. We've got our revolution endorsed Garland Gilchrist. And if you see these little phone bank emojis, that means you can actually phone bank for them today, which we'll talk about in just a minute here. Should I keep going, or do we just want to go live at this point?
Yeah, I mean, how do we actually get to working for these candidates, right? That's the question. And all these elections that are going on today, you know, how do we get to them? What do voters need to know?
Yeah, so there's a website called grassrootspb.com. There's candidates that we've actually endorsed, hosted on there. Carter for Virginia delegate. Alan Pugh for City Council, and Brian Perry for City Council as well, for Elyria and Cincinnati, Ohio, respectively. So that's one way. And then, of course, for the candidates that aren't on grassrootspb.com, just sharing on social media, and then each candidate has really their own resource. If you go to their website and then click on their volunteer link, and then we'll go over that detailed information for our endorsed candidates. There's dozens of candidates, so in just a little bit we'll go over the 8 candidates that we've endorsed. And these are candidates that we've actually, that the volunteers of Political Revolution have actually volunteered for. We've provided direct campaign services, we've fundraised for. Thanks to all the people that have been instrumental in helping those campaigns along. And we want to highlight the efforts there. So we will do that in just a minute. Here, I stopped at Massachusetts, Michigan, and Minnesota. Also has our revolution has endorsed a slate of city council candidates, which is also on the endorsements wiki. And Dane running for mayor of Minneapolis. He was on Grassroots PB. I don't see him right now. All the mayoral races have a lot of heat right now. We've got. So we talked about Vincent Ford, and Dane, and there's also Tim Keller running for mayor of Albuquerque, I believe. And we'll go over that. In a second. Missouri is the next one. We've got an Our Revolution endorsed candidate for state senate. New Jersey. We don't have any endorsed candidates in New Jersey. Interesting. New Mexico, yep. So Tim Keller for mayor of Albuquerque, Our Revolution endorsed, as well as by the subreddit endorsements here on this last column. New York, there's a again, another slate of city council candidates by Our Revolution. They're really bringing attention to that city level elections, which is really important right now. That's how we're going to really integrate the progressive mentality at the grassroots level and affect, hopefully by 2018, at a congressional level. North Carolina, we've got two endorsed candidates, both for city council. One endorsed by Our Revolution and the subreddit, and then we've got Cecile Bothell endorsed by the subreddit as well. We're getting towards the end here. Ohio. we've got a full another slate of city council candidates. I talked a little bit about Brian Gary and Ellen Pugh. So those are the two candidates that the Political Revolution actually endorsed and has direct campaign. So once again, thank you to those volunteers. And then there's another full slate endorsed by Our Revolution once again. So definitely check those out before you get to the polls, Ohio. Yeah, you as well. We've got a little bit of a different lineup here. We've got city council, but also Larry Krasner for District Attorney, which has a lot of heat behind it right now. He won the Democratic nomination. Forget exactly when. It was a few months ago, and that's another one that we're very hopeful that we can call that a victory tonight. And then we've got district justice and a town auditor. And Larry is also one that we've endorsed and campaigned for. And then we've just got a few more here. We've got 3 left. We've got Utah. We've got one endorsed mayoral candidate. And then hold on just a second. Having a quick technical configuration there. Okay. So we're at Utah, 2 left, Virginia. You've probably heard a lot of media. There's been, or there's Flip VA Blue, right? Which is an entire leftist organization that is dedicated to flipping Virginia blue, but they've really taken this to the next level and delving into the House delegate races. And we've actually have a few people on our years that have worked directly with some of these candidates, which is really exciting. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in total. The 3 that we've endorsed, the Political Revolution is endorsed as Lee Carter, and Josh Cole. So we'll be delving in a little bit more about how you can help those guys out in just a minute. And you can see the rest there. And then of course Lee Carter you can phone bank for today. These guys are pushing. They've actually formed kind of a coalition to come up with this Medicare for All legislation that they're going to be pushing if elected in Virginia. So it's super important that we get out the vote for these candidates, because that could be a turning point for the Medicare for All discussion in the upcoming elections. The last state is Washington. We also have kind of a mix-up of candidates and seats here. We've got a few city council. Actually, all city council.
Hey, so Glow, I'm actually going to cut you off for just a sec because it seems like we are getting a little bit of a technical snag with echoing. We're going to go to a quick break and then kind of come back and reiterate what we were working on.
Okay.
So sorry about that.
No worries.
Just a moment.
All right. Well, thanks. I'll be back soon. that we have kind of a special connection with here at TR. Again, these are candidates that we've worked directly with, that we have volunteers that worked for their campaigns. So we just want to highlight those efforts and those candidates for you guys. We're going to start off with John Grant for Seattle City Council. So he won his primary a few months ago. He's DSA indoor. And let's actually, I'm going to share my screen here. And let's just follow Twitter a little bit and see how the campaign's going. Awesome. So yeah, looks like he's doing good. Oh, we got endorsed by the Daily. Yep. So we've got lots of people voting in Seattle. Carrie Moon for mayor. So yeah, Seattle, Washington is a well, Washington in the generals. It's a very progressive state. The more progressives we get in key cities like Seattle, the easier it is going to be to one of the states where we're seeing a lot of key legislation being pushed. We just had recreational marijuana legalized there ago, and I think there's a Medicare for All initiative being pushed there. So it's really exciting, and John could be a city council candidate and work his way up to a congressional seat. You never know. We're in it for the long haul. Council candidates are always going to be important, but they're right now a year out from the most right-wing extremist president being elected. I guess that's actually arguable, but I'm saying it, so it's probably true. No, not really. Anyways, so our next candidate highlight is Raymond Dane for mayor. So I'm gonna do the same thing like we did with John. Candidates on Twitter and seeing what they're up to today. Raymond had a meet and greet. Some candidates take the time out of their campaigns to do that. All right, we've got 1, 2. Yeah, these candidates, people, so we're able to see in real time the people voting here, who they're voting for. And that's another thing really about the past election years that is so important in our democracy, the way that social media has really empowered here, and now this whole slew of progressive candidates, it's really changed the ball game here. We're now able to identify candidates, empower new candidates, and then campaign for them digitally. You can phone bank from anywhere in your home. Really quick, kudos to the guys at grassrootspb.com. I don't know the names of the full team members, but Laksh is someone I've been working with personally for a while, and he's been working with Political Revolution for well over a year now. And they do that for free. They host Grassroots PB and set up the candidates. So we are able to elect them and get out the vote for them. So thank you guys. We'll move on to the third, fourth, and fifth candidates here. We talked a little bit about the Virginia races earlier. Again, there's I want to say there's around a dozen delegates that have kind of banded together here. You can view the other ones that have been endorsed by our Revolution website, or of course the endorsements wiki that we showed you guys a little bit earlier. But the three that we have, I'm going to start off with Josh Cole. Josh is an interesting candidate. He was an assistant pastor for a number of years, and he also worked inside. He was assistant, I want to say, to state house rep and the governor. You can check on our website and our endorsement article for the full breakdown of that. But yeah, he's one of the progressive Virginia delegates running in which district? Let me find out really quick. Um, 28th. So he is legislative 20 Virginia legislative districts for House delegates. And let's go on Twitter again and see how his campaign is doing. I really love campaign days and just following what the campaign is doing. I was kind of hoping to get some video. Maybe we'll be able to bring in some video from old polling places when we do our results tracking later. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is from yesterday. Oh, this is nice. You've got, see, this is where that really starts. We've got a Josh Cole's mom working the polls for him. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. So nice. So nice. It really, that's the other thing that is so important about the grassroots campaign that we're building up here is we've become a little desensitized, not only to politics, but the idea of a politician. I think there's a stigma without the progressive label and the effort made by Bernie Sanders and grassroots activists around the country. Without that label that candidates can apply to them, we still might have that skepticism, and we still do. There's a lot of I don't want to say fracturing, but a good amount of debate on the left about the meaning of progressive values and left fracturing, and but ultimately I think there's a large consensus that surrounding money, and that's another thing. When we endorse a candidate, that's one of the cornerstone things that we look for is that this person is not taking Dominion corporate money. This person is taking money from those that they want to represent, which is the people. Anyways, so let's move on to the next, which is Lee Carter for Virginia delegate. He is going to be running in the 50th district. Yeah, let's see what he's up to. Quick shout out to some of our core volunteers again. Tom, one of our core people, Tom, worked very heavily on that campaign. And Lee is on grassrootspb.com. The lines don't actually, they open in about a half hour. So in a half hour, you can jump on and just click phone bank here if you're in Virginia or anywhere, and start making calls. And I can show you guys that a little bit more in a second. Where's my Twitter? So Lee, again, I talked a little bit about it earlier, but we covered it in a previous show, but Lee actually helped to write the Medicare for All legislation that the Virginia delegates are supporting. So important, again, in the context of how these progressive ideas are actually enacted in the legislation. We're in it for the long haul. We have a long fight ahead of us, but by electing people like Lee, people like Steve and Josh at the delegate level is going to make it a whole lot easier. And as we see support rise in each individual state, we're able to at the congressional levels. So every election matters. That's why we're here. All right. We've got wow, we've got lots of people, lots of polling pictures on Lee Carter's Twitter. I'm gonna like that. Okay. Yep, and they are asking for get out the vote calls specifically. So definitely, even if it just takes, if you only have 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes. It really is that simple. Once you get yourself set up, give yourself 10 minutes to get set up. But then once you do it, and then once you're comfortable, you can do it for any candidate. And then, yeah, you might get, even if you make 10 calls and only one, is one that you make a difference on, that's still one person. And if everyone makes that commitment, then that one person turns into 100 and so on and so forth. And that's really the meaning of people power. It's oh gosh, I'm gonna go on a ramble about like confirmation bias and stuff like that. What is this, bystander effect? Later. We can talk about that later. We got lots of time. So the third delegate that we've endorsed is Steve McBride. Let's see how he's doing today. Yep, so the hashtag to be following, it appears, for Virginia politics is hashtag GameOnVA. So that's good. Looks like he had a Periscope going earlier this morning. So that wraps it up for Virginia. We've got 2 city council candidates, and then Larry Krasner. We'll just go over those really quickly. We've endorsed Brian Gary for Cincinnati City Council. He is, we endorsed him last month, so it was kind of a last minute thing. But we offered, this was more of a hands-on effort that we did. It was really interesting. Just all the people and the level of intensity that is required at that level, because we're not getting funds here at the city council level. We're getting we're not getting as much. And that's another note to be made about party politics, and why is the Democratic Party not helping candidates like these? And so yeah, one of the things we did for Brian is also on grassrootspb.com. Definitely make a few calls for him today. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to switch to Facebook because his campaign is very active on Facebook. I think I saw a post this morning. Okay. Looks like they had a video earlier 30 minutes ago, actually. Yeah, the impression I got working on this campaign is this is definitely someone who is on the ground, who is never really stops talking to people, who really cares about about their volunteers and about Cincinnati. So rooting for you, Brian, and good luck. And we'll be following those results later. A little bit later. Next is Alan Pugh. I love Alan. Alan Keem has been around forever in the political revolution circles. I remember when Alan first announced he was going to run. So this is really, for me personally, working. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and to see, someone that you work with take on the mantle and then actually follow that through. And he's led an extremely good campaign, and I'm happy to have helped wherever I did or could. And a lot of our volunteers helped on that. Alan's like our resident. I don't know. He's cool. He's our resident candidate. And he is also on grassrootspd.com. And both of those lines for Alan and Brian are open right now. So you could jump on right now. You don't even have to listen to me talk. You could just do it unless you want to. I don't know. Probably. It's probably better. Maybe I'll phone bank later. Just record myself phone banking. And then you guys will feel bad and have to do it. No, I'm definitely doing it. Like, when we go on break, I'm going to do it. Okay. And then that's another thing. When we do go on break, I will be in the Discord, and then there's a Project Voice, I think. Let's go to the Discord really quickly. Or actually, there's a separate voice. So we can actually all jump on there and phone bake together. Wow, you guys, be great. All right, last candidate, Larry Krasner. He's one of the ones that has gotten a lot of attention. And he's already won election, the Democratic primary. So there's a lot of promise there. And sometimes we see candidates, like I think another example who won his mayoral election recently, who have the ability to project their message in such a way that it is very, you can see them in their future roles. Like I could see Randall in a congressional role. I could see Randall for president. Don't make the subreddit. No, we have to now. Randall for president. Okay, no. Anyways, and Larry's one of those people. He's been able to connect that message at a national level. Yeah, I'm seeing that right here on Twitter too. Larry Krasner is the DA that the United States, not just Philly, needs. So let's go to his Twitter. See if we have any videos. No, we've got a few. We've got lots of hype. Looks like we're using hashtag Philly, hashtag Slate of 8 to follow those races. Krasner for DA. Wow. 115. Yeah. This is promising. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens later. Okay. So that is all of our candidates. Again, if you want to see the full roster, you can go to, and not just political revolution candidates, but ones that have been endorsed by our revolution. There's a full grid of every single state with every single race and who's endorsed what on the endorsements page there. And then of course you can go to our revolution's website and they have their candidates there. There's a lot of overlap. I think the only candidate that we've endorsed that isn't OR endorsed is I think Josh Cole for delegate and Brian Gary for city council, I want to say. So that is it. All right, guys. I don't know. Are we still sharing my screen or is it back on?
Is it back on? Put it back on for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That'd be great.
Sure.
Okay.
What you taking a look at there?
Oh, it's back on my screen now. Or is it the opposite? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, we're looking at what you're looking at.
Oh, okay. Great. That's not what I wanted, but that's okay.
And we're back to you.
Okay, thanks. Okay. So yeah, we've gone over all of the endorsements. We're going to be going live at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have a few guest speakers. We're going to have a few of our Reddit moderators join us. Thank God it's not just me, as much as I love doing this. And we're also going to have Ellen Pugh, yay, giving updates on how his day went. Hopefully it's great. And we might have, can't promise anything. At one point we had a volunteer say that they were going to stream some videos from some polling places out in Virginia. We're also going to be having a Reddit live thread run by our volunteer team, or the volunteer team. And then we'll have a major results thread that's going to track every single race that I'm not going to go over right now. We went over the important ones. So again, that'll be around 8. You might see some of those links pop up a little bit sooner. I don't know. Thinking we can either take another quick break here, or we can talk a little bit about how the 2016 elections really it was the impetus for all this progressive action that we're seeing in 2017. I mean, really, I don't know if any viewers out there really reflect on this ever. I think a lot of us, the people that are still going or who to this again and again, we're people that kind of see what needs to be done and we're just doing it. But but you're just looking back on the last year, even from it's been more than a year since the Democratic convention in July, and then Trump, and it's been a constant battle of fighting off the latest piece of Republican legislation, which almost at times feels like a parody of like the government feels like a parody of itself. Does that make sense? I don't know. Because the Republicans, like, it's almost like they don't take themselves seriously with some of these pieces. Like they have the majority, but they're like half-assing everything. So even, some of the party is turning against this. I mean, so is the Democratic Party, but that's it. That's it. Two-party system for you. Things can't work in binaries apparently. Maybe we can make a spectrum. Political spectrum, party. Anyways, so after the 2016 elections, I think there was a period of, I want to say, denial, really, the acceptance stages. But what I've seen, and I've seen this not just within the political revolution, but with other progressive groups as well. There was kind of a period where the reality of Trump being elected kind of did take its toll on people. Kind of the people who were really involved in all of this at the core were kind of like, okay, what do we do? Station. I mean, I don't know what other word to use. And but thankfully the I mean, the people who have stuck through this, that ability before, or whether Bernie gave it to them or showed them how, but perseverance really is, and belief, I think, belief in solidarity, so strong that we're doing these unprecedented things that we're doing now. We're covering local elections in the wealthiest country in the world with the lowest voter turnout. You know, we're now, I think we're finally now starting to pay attention at the level that we need to. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. When I say we're paying attention at the level that we need to, I'm saying that, you know, this group and the people that are watching and the people that follow the subreddit, we need to bring more people into that and show them how easy it is to get involved at this level, and just really it's all about paying attention. And we try to make it easy for people, but the more people that help us make it easy, the easier it becomes for everyone. This is about taking that step. Anyways, so let's go on a quick break, and then we can talk maybe a little bit more about these progressive values, and hopefully what the effect, hopefully that there's some sort of ripple effect gained in energy if we succeed today, and we can rock it off into 2018 with a brand new attitude, or a more empowered attitude. All right, so you guys ready to go on break?
Cheers, Chloe.
Cheers. All right, see you guys soon.
Hey, Glow, I'm going to interject here. It seems like your mic might be muted.
Thanks, Karsh. Welcome back, guys. So I was saying before the break, we were talking about Progressive Grassroots Network and how it's been spurred by the 2016 election and the results of that, and how everyone has kind of been nonstop working towards this, and how I think and we are seeing a very high voter turnout. We're going to talk a little bit about that here. I want to start with Virginia, just because we actually have people in our Slack who are there right now, that there's really high voter turnout, that and that they haven't seen something like that for these races. We've got lines out the door. So we pull up a little bit of data here, and if you want to share my screen really quickly, I can show you guys that.
There it is.
Perfect. So first I'll show you guys our little Slack here. Anyone is welcome to join. There's a link on political-revolution.com/volunteer, and we're in the November 7th elections channel. Like I mentioned, Tom and Ryman are our guys on the ground there, and their voter turnout right now. It looks like it's fluctuating county by county. We've got Fairfax County estimating voter turnout is at 30%, which is still really high for a local election. Don't let the rain stop you from voting. Definitely. So the other cool thing I wanted to show you guys, and Karsh, feel free to jump in with it whenever, but I actually looked on the Virginia Secretary of State or Department of Elections website, and they're actually updating this information for the voter turnout information as it's happening. So I'm looking at the 2017 statistics, and they are showing that we've got over 5 million active voters that are eligible to vote today, and this was updated, yesterday. So they're very on top of updating this right now. We already have 180,000 counted absentee ballots. So I pulled up the 2015 general elections so we can compare that. Actually, so let's look at the turnout. 2015. Let's see if they've got totals here. Statewide totals. Okay, so already from 2015, we're up. Like, what is that?
It's about already 1% over, and we just started the day. And
yeah. So we were at 44,789,000 active voters in 2015. Now we're up to 5,104,000. So hopefully those 5 million people are voting, and that's really the case to be made here. Is why are we seeing this increase in a state or in a country that's been so disenfranchised by its politicians and by its politics? Why are we streaming for the November 7th general elections when there's, I don't think there's any, well, there's no congressional elections, and the highest seat we have are like the state house and the state senate seats right now, for the house delegates, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, just state level stuff. And yeah, you're right. It's just all these new people coming into town too, all these new registered voters, and the towns are growing. That's another huge thing here, right? So will the town turn towards progressivism? Will it, start to show what the turnout trends are going to be like going into next year as we go into those higher level races. So yeah.
Yeah, I really think that we can make an educated assumption that if we're seeing increased voter turnout at the local level, that we're going to see increased voter turnout in the 2-year or the midterms next year, which we really, really need, and which wasn't the case or hasn't been the case historically. We always see the most voter turnout during the general elections. Those always get the most attention, and we lost congressional seats in the midterms between 2014 and 2016. That's why we're in the position we're in now. It goes back to psychology, of course. It goes back to how people view our society, how our society interacts with us, how we interact with our society. You know me, I like to talk psychology and all that all day long, but it's a very simple formula. You have a disgruntled populace that's overworked and underpaid. And who has time to care about these things, right? And why should we care? So that's part of the political revolution's journey, has been how do we make that connection? And it happens on an individual level. Sometimes even when you have a person like inspired millions of people, that's still each individual person made that connection. And really that just speaks to his influence. But when you have just Karsh and Glow, or just one person who doesn't have as much clout, how do you make those arguments? How do you make that impact? This is how you do it. You just don't shut up. I mean,
yeah. And also, I would think that there's even like a slight natural change in the need to actually get out and vote. Like Democrats, right, it hasn't always been the case that they're the ones to go out and vote, right? Republicans, they on election day are the ones to get out. But as we see the need, as the cycles change in politics, as we see them in our administrations, more people are going to go out and vote for something that they feel they can hopefully affect with their voice, now that we're on their end of things.
Right.
So yeah, hope there's a natural tendency to want to go and vote now, especially in some crazy times.
Yeah, and there's the need, there's the impetus, and then there's also the accessibility, which is part of what we're trying to do and our revolution is trying to do. We've got the Bernie brand, right? And as much as people fight it, there's still leftists that, we still see, even within our own political ideology, the slurs being tossed back and forth. They still see Bernie bros pop up. Like, okay, I'll talk about this seriously though. No, I won't go into too much about that. Validating it is just kind of a moot point at this point. But anyways, the regardless of whether you're a Bernie Sanders fan or not, the bottom line is that he gave us proof that and empowerment that these things and the knowledge of these pieces of legislation, Medicare for all, tuition college, these things are maybe something that we need as humans to have a better, condition of living. And so now we've got, if it's not a brand, and there's been many attempts to brand it. I mean, we kind of are in a way. And the bird is the sparrow from Bernie, like it's all there. But ultimately, I think really the message is becoming the brand in a way. And it gets people excited at a local level when they see someone like Randall Woodfin, someone like Larry Krasner, someone like Alan Pugh, who was able to take that empowerment that they got from themselves, from wherever, from their own fed upness with their local politics or from Bernie and really turn that into their own message, which is really the power, the truly, I think for me, even, or what really compounds the political ideology of Bernie Sanders' message, is the like the never give up attitude, right? Like it's got to happen some way, and that's universal to us all, really. And if and make your own, message out of that, no matter where you are, people are going to latch onto that, and I think that's what we're seeing. So that was my very long-winded way of saying Bernie Sanders 2020.
Yeah, mentality is changing. Mentality is definitely something he talks about, right? It's continuously, constructively conversing about these things intelligently, politically, right? The political revolution.
Yep.
We're all expressing ourselves, and we're all getting our voices out and really expressing our ideas. That's the key to fighting this ignorance that he's battling, right? That by 2020, maybe we'll be in a better mentality as a society to even see it happen. So, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, it's very interesting to watch. Really, it's when you talk about the how it happens. This is how it happens, and we're seeing this in act right now. We're seeing ideas turn into actions, turning into this increased voter turnout, which is really, really, really exciting. It sounds kind of redundant to say, but I mean, that's, the proof is in the pudding, ultimately. That's all we have to say. And I think that is an empowering message for people who have been fighting nonstop for the past. Started working on Bernie's campaign in 2015. It's officially been 2 years. Happy anniversary, everybody. So, and that's, I was talking about empowerment, right? To see this really happening, because I think that there's a lot of, again, there's always the underbelly of the political identity ideology discussion that happens in the comment section on Twitter, in the comment section on your Facebook, and those memes you get from your politically charged friends or anything. There's an identity breakdown happening, and I think it's empowering when we can just look at the results. We don't have to argue about, okay, well, the DNC is corrupt. There's no point in reforming it. There's the whole dem enter, dem exit mentality split, right? That's one of those things. And happening, regardless of what you believe, there's already candidates running. And there were, they may or may, I mean, we'll see if they get elected tonight. I'm positive we'll have a few wins. I don't know how many. I'm feeling it. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. I'm just trying to be real. Like, I'm not an optimist or a pessimist. Like, no matter what happens, we're going to keep going. That's why I'm still here. I try to keep my blinders on.
That's an accurate description, though. That's the state of things, right? Like, we've recently gone through a really big win with Randall Woodfin, I would say. And just to see this turnout up is a really good sign of, like, things starting to go over the edge. And hopefully, we're starting to ride this progressive wave, like the progressive wave in Virginia. I mean, I want to hear about what's going on in some of the other states. Like, how's that turnout there, guys?
Yeah. I don't know. Pick a state. You want to look at New York?
Let's look at New York.
Okay. I'm gonna pull up in my handy dandy spreadsheet here the New York elections page. Let's see if we can find some statistics, and I'll pull up on Twitter too.
For sure.
See if we can find any hashtags for New York politics trending. Okay.
Wow, look at those voted stickers.
Yeah, that's fancy. We just get I'm over here. Well, yeah, Michigan. We just get the little I voted buttons.
Right.
These buttons. We need to hand these buttons out at the polling places. Let's go do it. Let's go to a. I mean, yeah. I need to vote.
Buttons. Michigan voted today. New York's voting today.
I'm not seeing the New York specific hashtag. Let me look up NY elections.
Literally, my
You think I'd be
hometown
prepared and have
a
this thing
council
pulled
election.
up? What'd you say?
My hometown is having a council election. Jonathan Clark is running for Oyster Bay supervisor, town supervisor.
Yeah, I don't. We have the same cycle of city council here, candidate in Novi.
Yeah, it looks like the hype isn't up in New York just yet.
Yeah, let's just look at the election day hashtag.
I mean, how's that New Jersey gubernatorial going? That's a big one.
Oh, this is one that just popped up about Virginia. The ACLU says they're getting reports of calls to Virginia voters falsely saying that their polling place has changed. What? If you get a call, confirm your polling place and report it. Wow.
Who even? Setting up phone campaigns for that.
Here's another little tidbit. You do not have to affiliate with any political party to cast your vote in this general election day in any state in America. Awesome. So we can leave the party politics out of it. It's just ideals, right? These are just candidates running on their ideals at the end of the day. That's really nice.
I wonder how this whole thing with the DNC that's recently happened is even going to affect people's opinions of the Democrats going to the polls today.
Okay, sorry, I just had to tweet something about that. Wonderful. Yeah, I'm not finding too much on New York. Do you want to try and find something on New Jersey?
Oh, I'm looking at turnout rates. Yeah, things overall higher than expected as we're looking through state by state. Maine, they're framing a mayoral election through a steady flow of voters. Duluth, it's either typical or higher from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it probably depends on the state. Like, I think Virginia's high. You'll probably see higher in like New Jersey and Ohio, probably.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna pull up the 2015 election results and info for New Jersey as well as this year.
Cool.
Voter registration statistics, statewide summary. Voter registration statistics. November voter registration by congressional voting district. Okay. All right, so for 2015, we had a total number of 5,406,159 registered voters, but there was only 1 million
ballots casted.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
22%. This is the general election in November 3rd. Okay.
Yeah. Now we've got
a Monmouth University poll is saying that they expect 38% this election year. So
really?
Lots of things have changed.
Yeah. The voter registration total for this year is 5,754,000. So we've got an increase in registered voters by about 300,000. So that's promising. You saw.
This is just a Monmouth University poll. It's a graphic I saw on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nice. Election? Trying to see if I can find anything on Twitter. Is the hashtag to use?
For sure.
Election day, New Jersey. We got some polling from Ballotpedia. Let's look at the hashtag NJGov hashtag. Final polls continue to show Murphy lead outside margin of error in NJGov. There's a link to get caught up on the race on Ballotpedia. I'm going to retweet that for you guys.